It's the mute button problem. Welcome, everyone, to the virtual Midwest Banjo Camp faculty concert. I'm one of your co-hosts and co-directors and co-owner of Elderly Instruments, Lillian Werbin. You'll hear from all of us directors at some point this evening, but first up, we have one you know well, Ken Perlman.
Thank you very much, Lily. Thank you, Stan. I'll start introducing our first act almost immediately. But first, it occurred to me that I realized that the faculty will not be able to hear you applaud, but the faculty deserves a tremendous amount of applause. I mean, think about it. We have 25 plus people scattered over thousands of miles of geography and several time zones. And they all showed up at their classes exactly on time and showed up at for their concert spots exactly on time. And the show rolled on. I mean, who said musicians aren't responsible and completely together? So in the privacy of your own home or wherever you're listening, please give the faculty a huge hand for a job well done and a job that will continue tomorrow. So I'm going to continue introducing our first act, which is Mike Sumner. And we've had Mike many, many times at Midwest Banjo Camp, and he's a wonderful teacher, and he generally anchors our Bluegrass novice program, now called Bluegrass Basic. And we just get tremendous feedback from his students. Mike has been playing banjo since he was 6. His early influence came from his father, Joe, who taught himself out of the original Scruggs book. In 2001, Mike won the Merlefest, Rocky Grass, and Winfield National Banjo Championships, which is an amazing accomplishment. He repeated the national championship again in 2007. And he has played with quite a number of bands and individuals, most recently Dale Ann Bradley, and he is currently, according to his publicity, touring with Billy Droz, Rebecca Long, and Irene Kelly. And if that's wrong, I hope he'll correct me. Won't you please welcome to the stage Mike Sumner.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks to Ken and Lillian and Stan, AJ, for making this all happen. And it's pretty cool how we can assemble together virtually. And as Ken said, it's good to be here. I teach the basic bluegrass banjo. I get people started. We talk about the right hand and the left hand. And last time that we got together and we did the faculty concert, as I was teaching in the classes, we were on site in 2019, and there were so many questions that went like this. How do you take the right hand rolls and then the left hand chords and put them together and make a solo? How do you do that? And as I faced that question many times, helping lead the basic class, I thought, well, why not use this time when I perform, instead of trying to do some crazy banjo number, why don't we take a song that everybody has heard of or knows, and we'll start off really simple, where it's even single note melody notes, but something like tonight, I'm going to do I'll Fly Away That Way, and I'll do a couple verses through it where it's really simple, and as I go, I'll move more and more into rolls on my right hand, so that you can see how we build a solo that goes from single note melody, throwing in some pinches and some rolls, to a full roll solo at the end, and maybe some interesting chords. All that said, let's go ahead and get started. You guys are here for a fun time. There's a lot of great teachers here to play tonight. For some of you advanced players, this will start off much beneath you, but I hope you can enjoy how we build this. For those of you that are trying to figure out, how do I put the rolls and the left hand together to make a song or a melody. I'll fly away. And that's how we build a solo. Just single notes, throw in some rolls, work on your left hand, put it all together. Thanks, y'all.
Hey, thanks, Mike. That was great. That was super. And I hope gives all those basic and beginner players something to shoot for. So our next performer is Arnie Naiman, moving over to the clawhammer world. And Arnie's latest recording Released in 2016 and featuring instrumental banjo music, entitled My Lucky Stars was nominated for Solo Instrumental Artist of the Year at the Canadian Folk Music Awards. His first recordings, shared with Chris Cool, called Five Strings Attached with No Backing, Volumes 1 and 2, earned great recognition. For the last 20 years, he has produced a banjo concert in Toronto called Banjo Special, and I believe they put out a recording of the performers there that won an award. And he now performs with Hannah Sherrod Naiman and Chris Cool, who's been to Midwest Banjo Camp a few times, a group called the Banjo Special, Ragged But Right, and also Pete Vigor, our fiddle player, in the Virginia-based old-time string band, the Albemarle Ramblers. So won't you please welcome to the stage Arnie Naiman.
Hello. I'll just try and get this in the frame properly. Well, thank you very much for that nice introduction, Ken, and thank you for having another Canadian on your roster. It's been a while since I was at camp. I think it was, more than 10 years ago, and so I'm glad to be back, even though it's over the airwaves. They wouldn't let me across the border this time. But maybe next time, who knows? But thank you, Stan and Ken and Lillian, for having me. I've really enjoyed teaching the beginner clawhammer classes, and I believe the students are on their way to their banjo adventures. I'm going to start off. I make up a lot of tunes. I'm based in, I play a lot of traditional music, but the traditional music is in me, but I make up a lot of tunes that are rooted in traditional music. And so this is a clawhammer tune I made up. It's called Maggie at the Door, and Maggie is my golden retriever who often comes to the door and wants in and out and in and out and in and out. And this is Maggie at the Door. to just switch banjos here. So, have a look at this thing. This banjo is made by Jason and Ferris Romero, and it's quite a thing. It's called My Lucky Stars Banjo. And Jason and Ferris just won a Juno Award, which is the Canadian equivalent of like the Grammy Awards. Yesterday they won a Juno Award for the last record they put out, so congratulations to them. But they make fantastic instruments, great instruments. And I'm just going to play you a tune. I had to quickly write up an application for a grant, a recording grant that Ontario was giving out. I found out about it on a Saturday, and I had to hand it in on a Monday afternoon, like around 4 o'clock or something. I had to fill out all kinds of pages, like, I don't know, 20 pages of stuff. And then I read that I have to have a recording, a studio quality recording of one of the songs that was going on this recording of original music. And I thought I'd apply because I've been making up all these tunes over the past few years, and it was an opportunity to get them down on a recording. And so I kind of panicked, and I called up a friend, and we set up a studio time with my buddy Chris Cool on Sunday, and we went in there and we recorded a tune, this tune that I'm going to play. And I handed it in on Monday. I got there like 10 minutes before the grant closing time shut its door, and I handed it in, and they gave me the grant. So, and this is the tune that I played with Chris Cool, who played backup guitar. Just a fantastic guitar part if you ever listen to that. This is called Reminiscence, and it's a 2-finger banjo piece.
Thank you, Arnie. It was great hearing some of your recent opus, and hope to continue hearing such over the years and running into you in places like Clifftop when we all return to normal. Hopefully that's soon. Okay, so our next performer is our tenor banjo instructor. This is our third year of having tenor banjo instruction, not counting the year that we had to cancel. And it's been very successful this year, really good turnout. Our next performer is Johnny BAIER. Like many tenor banjo players who started in obscurity, his early career involved working in Shakey's Pizza Parlor in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and also playing for tourists at Disney World, where else. So since then, he has gone on to an honored career, a storied career. He was inducted into the American Banjo Music Hall of Fame in 2019, and he is the executive director of the American Banjo Museum, which is located in Oklahoma City. So if you didn't know there was an American Banjo Museum, there is, and if you're ever in that neighborhood, you should definitely check it out. And he also sits on the Steve Martin Banjo Prize Board, or has sat on it, because I believe that it's given its last award. But Steve Martin, for many years, gave a large sum of money to up-and-coming banjoists, and Johnny helped him choose, along with some other folks which we've seen at camp, like Pete Wernick, for example, Tony Trischka, etc. So anyway, won't you please welcome to the stage Mr. Johnny BAIER.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it, all the nice words. And hello, everyone out there in internet land. It is a pleasure to be the tenor banjo representative here at Midwest Banjo Camp. And I really want to thank Ken Perlman and Lily and Stan Werbin for asking me to be part of this. It was a wonderful day with so many really enthusiastic, interested players. 5 sessions that could have been a marathon went by like that. So it was a really fun day to get back in the banjo business with everyone again. So I'm very thrilled to be here. Just going to play a couple of songs for you tonight, and which I hope you'll enjoy. The biggest question on an event like this is trying to come up with things that you know no one else will play. As the only tenor banjo player, maybe that was an easy choice, but I thought I would try and incorporate a couple of things that will illustrate some of the stuff that we went over with our students in the tenor banjo sessions today. A little slip stroke that I learned from a guy named Perry Bechtel is the whole basis of this next song. It's one of these kind of novelty tenor banjo songs, which I wrote, and I hope you'll enjoy. It's called Diminishing Returns, with a little bit of a band help. Go like this. Here we go. Yeah, no, that's fun. That's the way tenor banjo is fun to play. That sort of snappy stuff that came out of the 1920s. Now, a lot of people, I'll bet any money that I'm the only guy tonight who's going to play any bebop jazz. And people say that bebop jazz shouldn't be played on the banjo, and I guess I'm going to prove that to you. But the idea here was to show some of my students today how I craft a solo. I try and come up with an idea for a song, and in this case, it's a bebop song. But the thing about the bebop song is that it has the same chord changes as a very popular old-fashioned banjo song called Whispering. So I thought what we would do is put together a little bit of Groovin' High and put it together with Whispering and put it together with a bunch of the techniques that the guys learned today. Some of the individual single string improvising and some chord things. And then there's a kind of a flourish of fireworks at the end when we give it the old banjo band treatment. So we're going to go all through the spectrum of feel and style in this next little arrangement, which I call Groovin' High and Whispering. Go like this. Good night.
Hey, Johnny, quite a tour de force. Great hearing you. That was the first time I ever got to hear Johnny, and it was a real treat. So I'm going to close up my hosting duty by introducing our next act, Gina Furtado, and then I'll be turning things over to Lillian Werbin. So Gina grew up in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, and her first band was her very own Furtado family band. And since then, she has played with a whole mess of bands: Blue Light Special, New Girls Night Out, Nash Street, Chris Jones and the Night Drivers, and she currently tours I guess hopefully she's back to touring now because, nobody was touring last year. When she's touring, she tours with her own band, the Gina Furtado Project. And she has taught at Murphy Method banjo camps. In fact, she herself learned on the Murphy Method. That's Murphy Henry, Casey's mom. And she's taught Murphy Method camp, Swanee Banjo Camp, and many other banjo camps and other bluegrass camps around the country. Her latest CD with her band, the Furtado Project, is Made Up My Mind. Won't you please welcome Gina Furtado?
Hey everyone, it's good to see you. Welcome to my kitchen. And wow, Johnny, I was just sitting here, I couldn't help but just start clapping, and I'm like, oh wait a minute, he can't hear me. But that was amazing, super loved it. So I picked out a couple tunes for you guys. For COVID times, I decided to do a tune we all know. And for my students that came to the Double C tuning workshop, I thought this would be a good one. This one's called Hard Times. Don't have any backing bands, so I tried to pick some tunes that worked well without backing bands, but you guys can probably hear my kids going crazy in the background on the trampoline. Maybe some cicadas, I don't know. So anyhow, for the second tune, we're at a banjo camp. I don't know if anyone's done this one yet, but can't go wrong with a tune called Farewell Blues, so here you go. Thank you all very much. Hope to see you next year.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Too loud, but thank you so much, Gina. That was a wonderful set. I always have my foot tapping when you're playing, so thanks for making me dance. Up next, we have Pete Vigor, who has enjoyed playing old-time music as a hobby and career since his childhood in Virginia's Shenandoah Valley and has won first-place ribbons in both fiddle and clawhammer banjo at fiddlers' conventions in Virginia and West Virginia. His old-time band, Uncle Henry's Favorites, has been going strong with the same personnel, including his fantastic and lovely wife, Ellen, for 36 years. Nowadays, Pete also plays with the Lovell Coleman Band and with Zuzu's Hot Five. Pete has been on staff at Augusta Folk Heritage, Pinewoods Music Camp, Sierra Swing, and Blue Ridge Old Time Music Week. He is also director of Front Porch String Band Camp an event held near his home in Charlottesville. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Pete and Ellen Vigor.
Thank you, Lillian. That was fun to hear. Welcome, everybody, to the concert tonight, and we'll join the chorus of everyone thanking Stan and Lillian and Ken and all the techs for their hard work to make this happen.
Thanks.
This is Ellen here. I'm Pete, and we're going to play a couple of fiddle tunes for you on the fiddles, and the mandolin. We'll start out with Kitchen Girl, and I think we're going to morph into Muddy Roads after that.
We will.
Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Walking down the road and the road's kind of muddy. I'm so drunk that I can't stand steady, can't stand steady. I'm so drunk that I can't stand steady. And I'm walking down the road and the road's kind of muddy. The sun's coming up, so you better get ready. Better get ready, the sun's coming up, so you better get ready. Well, thank you for all that fine applause. Boy, oh, please, that's fine. Thank you. We're going to continue with Flying Cloud, or Flying Clouds, from the Charlie Poole orchestras. And we have no banjo that we're playing right now, but Charlie Poole, as everyone knows,
I got a banjo right here on my shirt.
There you go. Was a great influence on all of us banjo players. So we're going to do his great tune, Flying Clouds, which is fun to play on the banjo. And if you're playing along, you can be in D tuning, and even though it starts on a G chord, it works pretty good. Okay, here we go. And thank you again for tuning in tonight. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you all, everybody. Good night.
The big round of applause you couldn't hear. Here it is. Thank you both. It was wonderful. I had the pleasure of being the tech this afternoon for the Vigors, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I didn't introduce myself when I started my set, but my name is Lillian Werbin. I am co-director of Midwest Banjo Camp, and I am glad you are all with us. Up next, we have Greg Cahill. Greg Cahill formed the Special Consensus in the Chicago area and began touring nationally and internationally in 1975. Greg has appeared on all 20 of the Special Consensus recordings and has released 3 solo recordings and 1 European bluegrass music recording, all with other notable musicians. He has also released 4 banjo instructional videos and DVDs, 1 banjo lessons book, and 1 banjo tablature book. Greg has appeared on numerous recordings by other artists and countless national television and radio commercials, or jingles, my fave. And he conducts workshops and master classes at bluegrass camps and festivals worldwide. A comprehensive list of his teaching credits can be found in his speaker bio and is well worth the read. Greg is also a regular contributor to the Banjo newsletter, received the International Bluegrass Music Association Distinguished Achievement Award in 2011, and was inducted into the Society for the Preservation of Bluegrass Music in America Hall of the Greats in 2019. A hearty welcome to a longtime friend of NBC, Greg Cahill.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be back at NBC, and it's just, again, I'll tip the hat as well to Lily and Stan and Ken, because I can't believe they can run so many classes at the same time, and they all come out good, and we all get to have some visiting, and looking forward to when we can do it again in person. But I have this banjo that is a Julia Bell Deering. It's the John Hartford it's not his model, it's the Julia Bell, but it's in honor of him. Allison Brown worked that out with Deering Banjo. And I borrowed her banjo to play on one of the tunes on our 2018 recording, Rivers and Roads, and I liked it so well I had to go buy one, and I played it on 3 tunes on our newest recording. So I'm going to play it just a little bit. I've tuned it all the way down to D, and it's just such a rich sound. So all those tunes we learned in G and then had to learn in D. I'm going back and playing in the G formations, but it's we're tuned in D. Okay, so this is in D. So. just such a cool tone, the low-end banjo. So that was, of course, the 8th of January and a little bit of Arkansas Traveler. And now I get this other old thing out. And I wanted to play this, a tune I made up quite a few years ago. I was sitting on the back porch of a great friend's house in Austin, Texas, on a day when we were playing down there. And this was probably in the 80s. It was really warm. It was like 100 degrees. We had to play that night. Air conditioning sort of worked at the club, but so I made up this tune just sitting there and named it after the drink of choice that day. So, and I want to again thank everybody for coming to camp. We've had some great classes today and some great visits and all the faculty. What a great faculty! So proud to be part of it. Hope I see you all somewhere down the Bluegrass Trail. So this is called the Margarita Breakdown. In tune. Well, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Greg. That was some picking. Woo! Well, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, and so instead of speaking extremely slowly, I'll make an announcement about the video recordings. I've been getting a couple questions in the Ask Organizers channel. You will be able to access the video recordings, the class recordings, in the same exact way you got to class. So you'll go to the agenda, you'll click the class that you're wanting to view the recording of, and you'll be able to watch right there on your screen. Give me till the end of the week to get those uploaded, but I promise I'll be working as quickly as possible to make sure that you have as long as possible to practice. That probably was a really quick announcement. Let me think if I have any other announcements. I don't think I do. So I'm going to announce our next musician. Allison de Groot combines love for old-time music, technical skill, and a creative approach to the banjo, forming her own sound, unique and full of personality. Her collaborations with Tatiana Hargraves, Bruce Molsky's Mountain Drifters, The Goodbye Girls, and Nick Garris provide spaces to explore the role and depth of clawhammer banjo. Whether playing an Irish jig, a Swedish polka, Improvising or playing outside of traditional idioms, Allison is comfortable on clawhammer in an array of musical situations. She has toured all over the world with various groups, performing at events such as Newport Folk Festival, Celtic Connections, Rocky Grass, Hardly Strictly, Winnipeg Folk Festival, and please correct my pronunciation if necessary, the Tuna Festival in Denmark. A happy and warm welcome to Allison de Groot.
Hey Lillian, thanks so much for having me. Well, it's been really nice to be at camp with everybody, and yeah, huge thanks to Midwest Banjo Camp and Lillian and Stan and Ken for putting this all on. I'm going to play a tune that comes from the playing of Orchard Grass, and one of my favorite banjo players wrote a camp in Roanoke, Virginia, and yeah, this is called Shootin' Creek. So that's Shooting Creek. I play that one with my bandmate Bruce Molsky, and yeah, I love playing that tune. All right. So I think I'm gonna play a tune from Hobart Smith. This is one that I recorded with Tatiana Hargraves on our duo album. Actually have it tuned even a little bit lower, but it's in a cool tuning, which is E, A, C, D.
Ah, thank you, thank you. You had me grooving. Every time I get a groove, I can't get my finger on the mute button fast enough. Ah, I hope you all are enjoying the show. I am enjoying it so much, I'm unfocused. But I'll focus in so I can introduce our next musician. He grew up in a home with a piano and lots of Dixieland jazz records. During the 60s folk revival, he got hooked on the music of Big Bill Broonzy and the Jim Quinson Jug Band. When Andy was 16, he heard South Carolina's Reverend Gary Davis perform, and the effect on him was profound. He has devoted his life to studying, performing, and promoting traditional blues and folk music of the pre-World War II era. Bob Frank of Earwig Music describes Andy as a virtuoso fingerstyle guitarist who has been described as a walking, talking, folk blues roots music encyclopedia. Beyond the absolutely mind-blowing list of musicians Andy has toured and worked with, Andy has recorded at least a dozen CDs, including such titles as Oh Glory, How Happy I Am, Mississippi Heavy Water Blues, Road Be Kind, and Trying to Get Home. He has taught at many prestigious music camps, including Augusta Folk Heritage, Festival of American Fiddle Tunes, Pinewoods Music Camp, and Common Ground Music Camp. It is a true honor to welcome Andy Cohen to our virtual stage.
Hi guys. Ken Perlman told me he wants everybody to see your right hand, so here's my right hand. One of the pieces I'm going to be teaching this weekend is Candyman. Now there's a million different ways to do Candyman. There's the John Hurt way, the Babe Stovall way, the Memphis Jug Band way, the way Reverend Davis did it. It was apparently one of the first songs he learned because when he was 6 years old, he taught it to his 9-year-old brother, Buddy Pinson. And he also taught it to another resident, a kid that was musical around there, a guy that I got to meet when I lived in Asheville. His name was Walt Phelps. And Walt could play, you know, but he said, when he told me he was from Lawrence, South Carolina, I said, did you ever know a blind kid that could pick his patoot off? And he said, you must be talking about Gary Davis. Oh yeah, everybody around there could play, but nobody could play like Gary. This is the first piece that he taught Walt when they were about 6 years old. They were born almost on the same day in 1896. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this piece. This is Candyman. When Reverend Davis did it, he started with a near pinch. His thumb was on the 3rd string, and his index finger was on the high string. Okay, like that. So Stephen Grossman and Dave Van Ronk took that pinch to be 1. And it's not 1, it's 2. Most people play it by stating the C note. That's the C note. They state the C note first. It goes 1, 2, with the accent on the 2. The reason Mr. Davis, Reverend Davis, taught it that way, I think, is that all of his big pieces in C worked that same way. The thumb was a drone in the background, and the pinch was where the emphasis was. Like that. Happens this piece is in a form. It's called a rondo. It's a little piece that goes back and forth to the same note. That's that. Right there. That G note. They say a man come down walking down the lane playing this song, and he was a big broad-shouldered man. He was carrying his guitar behind his back. His shoulders were so broad you couldn't see the guitar, but he was picking the guitar behind his back. He was playing this song. Reverend Davis heard it. He was 6 years old, blind kid. He said he thought it sounded like a brass band. Candyman, Candyman, salty dog. Candyman, Candyman, salty dog. You won't be my candy man, I won't be your salty dog. Little red light, little green light, little red light, little green light, little red light, little green light. You stop on the red and you go on the green. Don't you mess with mist in between. Brass band, little tin drum, big brass band, little tin drum, big brass band. You stop on the ring, sitting on a candy stand. Green, don't you mess with mist in between. Candyman, been here and gone. Candyman, been here and gone. Candyman, watch this thumb now. Been here and gone. I wish I was in New Orleans, sitting on a candy stand. Candyman. Now I was talking briefly with a feller named Richard Joseph. He's going to be one of the students tomorrow, and he asked me if I'd play Let Us Get Together. Joan Fenton calls that one Let Us. But it's a good song. If you want to sing along with it, you can. It's just one line at a time, repeated 4 times. It's kind of jazzy. It's one of Reverend Davis's more jazzy pieces. I think he put most of his jazzy pieces in the key of G. Because it goes like this. Now let us get together right down here. Let us get together right down here. Let us get together right down here. Let us get together, children, right down here. Let us walk together. Let us talk together right down here. Let us talk together right down here. Let us talk together, children, right down here. Now let us shout together right down here. Let us shout together right down here. Let us shout together right down here. Let us shout together, children, right down here. Let us vote together. Let us vote together right down here. Let us vote together right down here. Let us vote together right down here. Let us march 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 together, children, right down here. Let us sing together. Oh, let us sing together right down here. Let us sing together right down here. Let us sing together, children, right down here. Together, children, right down here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andy. I'm always game for a good sing-along, so I got to use my pipes. Up next, we have Mr. Joe Newberry. Known around the world for his clawhammer banjo playing, Joe Newberry is also a powerful guitarist, singer, and songwriter. Growing up in a family full of singers and dancers, he took up the guitar and banjo as a teenager and learned fiddle tunes from great Missouri fiddlers. Newberry moved to North Carolina as a young man and quickly became an anchor of the incredible music scene in the state. He has a fantastic and well-known resume, go figure. But he does solo work and studio work, and teaches and performs at festivals at home and abroad. In addition to performing solo, he plays in a duo with mandolin icon Mike Compton and also performs with the dynamic fiddler and step dancer April Virch. He's an all-around kind heart and one of my favorite people, Mr. Joe Newberry.
Howdy, howdy. Thank you for those kind words. Hello, everybody. I've had a great time the last couple of days. We've got another good day tomorrow. I started thinking about all the great banjo players that have come before, and one that you don't hear about very much is a woman named Zelma Bowles. And Zelma was married to the fiddler Jim Bowles in Kentucky. And I love Jim's fiddling, but my goodness, Zelma's banjo playing was just right on it. So I am going to play a tune for you called Christmas Eve. Every musician will tell you that the holidays are just around the corner. So here we go, Christmas Eve. Zelma Bowles, Christmas Eve. They've told me that we've got a couple extra minutes. I'll do a little bit, just a little bit of something from Gaither Carlton. If you don't know Gaither's name, he was Doc Watson's father. He was Rosalie Watson's dad. Gaither Carlton was Doc Watson's father-in-law, rather. Play a little bit of Down the Road. This is not the bluegrass version of Down the Road. It's Gaither's. Down the road, I got a sugar baby down the road, a mile and a half, swap my horse for a cow and a calf. Down the road, I got a sugar baby down the road. Who's been here since I've been gone? Pretty little girl with a red dress on. Down the road, I got a sugar baby down the road.
across from the shop. My old hat's got a hole in the top. Down the road, I got a sugar baby down the road. Down the road, I got a sugar baby down the road, down the road, down the road. I got a sugar baby down the road. And before I go down the road, I'm going to do you a song that I wrote out of the pandemic with my friend Tim Stafford. And it's about it. Well, it's sort of about what we got going on tonight. We can't all be together, but we're still standing by each other. We just can't stand next to each other. And Tim and I wrote this song to be in the Carter family vein. It's called I Stand By You. Thank you to Ken and to Stan and to Lillian for having me. Thank all of the great students that I've run into this weekend, and my heroes and my friends on the faculty. What a great group we've got, and we hope to see you all next year in Olivet. I stand by you, although for now we cannot stand close by. A dark horizon won't deter the promise of fair skies. A single blink of time's long eye will let us meet again. So as doves call and shadows fall, think of your absent friends. Tempest round us ever rolls, though we are far apart. There is still a place for you within my constant heart. So do not open sorrow's door, lock it fast away. Keep the past and hold it close until that sunny day. Long and steep, the summit not in sight. We started in the blue-gray dawn. We will walk into the night. But think about the view we'll have beneath the setting sun. Together there we'll join as one when all is said and done. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Joe. We really appreciate it. I thought I would, so we do have a little extra time, so I thought I would, first of all, say a big thank you to every one of you students who have come to the Midwest Banjo Camp. We certainly couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without the faculty. In fact, I guess we all need to be here, but we're really happy you made it. In case anybody's interested, we have over 170 students from 31 states and one U.S. territory. We have someone here from the Virgin Islands. Hello, Rob. And 5 other countries, I believe. We have students from Canada, Switzerland, Germany, the United Kingdom, Sweden, and that's 5, I guess. So that's the other 5. We're really pleased and honored to have you all joining us. We hope you'll come see us in person in the future. We're in the process, people have asked, so we're in the process of trying to figure out how to best do a hybrid camp. So stay tuned. We don't know what the future will bring, but we know it will be a little different next year from this year. Do us a favor, like us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll try to stay in touch. Now, moving along, we have someone very special coming up. From Poor Richard's Almanac to Jimmy Martin's Sunny Mountain Boys, to the Flying Burrito Brothers, to Country Gazette, to South Plains College, to Midwest Banjo Camp, and now to the Alan Mundy Gazette. You know who I'm talking about. Alan Mundy's done it all and is one of the best and most respected banjo players in bluegrass. Let's have a big welcome for Alan Mundy.
Hey, how are you doing? Good to see everybody. I've got a call coming in from my agent. Let me check on it here. Oh, the Spam Risk Agency. The Spam Risk Agency, they're calling. I'll have to get back with them later on. I've got my accompanist here with me, Catherine Ruth Ledbetter over here on the bass. I'm sorry, can't get her in there, just can't make it work. Sorry about that. We're going to do a waltz, one called the Monday Night Waltz, and we'll give it a go here. So here we go. You ready?
Ready.
Very nice, very nice. All right, we'll do one more here, and then maybe we're running ahead of time. Maybe we'll do two more. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a signal. But this is a tune that comes from the Jimmy Martin repertoire. I played with him from 69 to 72 and never really played this tune very much, but I always loved it. And it was played on the original recording by Paul Kraft on the banjo. And Paul, besides being a very, very fine banjo player, went on to be a fine songwriter and wrote several songs that were big hits. Drop Kick Me Jesus, Through the Goalposts of Life was one. Through the Bottom of a Glass, I think, was another one that he wrote. And A Midnight Flyer that the Eagles had a hit on, the Osborne brothers did also. So he was a very fine songwriter and a very good banjo player. And this is a tune he played when he was with Jimmy Martin, and it's called Leavin' Town. Let me check my tuning. All right, are we ready?
Ready.
Boy, very sudden ending there. All right, well, that's what we had planned on for our 10 minutes worth of music making, and I don't know who is in charge of indicating that we're done or have more time.
Do a half of another one. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll do a little bit of all of me one time through.
Thank you so much, Alan. That's great. I was thinking while you were playing that, I was thinking that what am I doing with my hair here? I'm seeing myself in reverse, so I'm messing up my hair. Anyway, sorry everybody. Wait a minute. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. It's good now. Okay. I was thinking that if we weren't in a virtual camp, we would have to put you and Johnny BAIER together and see what happens there sometimes. Anyway, moving on to our next performer. It's really easy for us to think of him sometimes as the ultimate sideman. Here at Midwest Banjo Camp, we've had him teach, I think, dobro, tenor banjo, mandolin, and probably something else. I'm not sure what else, though. But he's equally adept at various guitar styles, 5-string banjo, steel guitar, ukulele, and probably even the humanitone. If anybody knows what the humanitone is, put it in the chat. We'll talk about it there. This weekend, we have him concentrating on dobro. All his classes will be tomorrow, so you won't have missed anything so far, at least. He has a very busy teaching schedule in the Chicago area and plays out there with several groups as well. Let's have a rousing but silent MBC welcome for Keith Bowman.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you, Midwest Banjo Camp. You left out the Hawaiian nose flute, one of my specialties. All right, so I'm going to do a couple tunes for you. I'm going to start out on the old 1929 tricone here, play a few Hawaiian pieces, a little bit of a hula, and then I'll go into a piece by the great Salhu Upi'i that's called the Hula Blues. Here we go. For the Hula Blues. Blues, a little bit of nahi for you. I'm going to switch up instruments here because in the 1930s, the Dopera brothers came up with the wooden body dobro, and that's the one that we use today in most bluegrass and country settings. And I'll do a few tunes on that one right there. Here we go. Also switch bars from the bullet bar to the Stevens style bar. Yes. Here's one that the man who started all the country dobro that I know of, Bashful Brother Oswald, he played this tune. It was one of his signature tunes, and it just highlights his style perfectly and shows how the Hawaiian technique moved over to country music. This one's called I'll Be All Smiles Tonight. little bit of Bashful Oswald style. Then, of course, along comes Josh Graves, played with the Foggy Mountain Boys, and he stood next to Earl Scruggs playing banjo, and he came up with his style. Here's one of his most famous tunes, Home Sweet Home. Little Home Sweet Home. And then my next favorite player, Mike Aldridge, came along, and he furthered the dobro, playing things like this. Leave you with one more by the next man, next link in the chain, Mr. Jerry Douglas, who popularized the hammer-ons and pull-offs that we all love so well. There you go. There's a little dobro through the ages for you. Thanks a lot, Midwest Banjo Camp, and hope to see all you dobro pickers tomorrow. And thanks, Ken and Stan and Lily, for doing such a great job with this camp. Appreciate it, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Keith. I wasn't expecting a complete history of the resophonic guitar, and in 10 minutes, and it was great. Thank you very much. Moving along here, the next person coming up is a man of many hats. He is best known for playing clawhammer banjo as applied to Appalachian, Canadian, Celtic, and sometimes music of other national origins. He has an extensive, well, shall we call it opus, of instructional books and recordings, including a project documenting the fiddle music and folklore of Prince Edward Island in eastern Canada. And he has decades of experience planning and teaching at banjo camps all around the USA, including 17 years here at Midwest Banjo Camp. You all know him, so how about a big welcome for Mr. Ken Perlman?
Hi, folks. Well, live is better, but here we are. And here's my little office behind me. And, it's been a real pleasure teaching some of you folks this weekend and running this camp. And I want to thank my two partners in crime, Stan and Lily, for helping to make it all possible and pulling above their weight. That metaphorically speaking, of course. So I'm going to focus a little bit on the Celtic and Canadian end tonight. Arnie was talking about, Arnie is a Canadian player playing American music, and I'm going to play some American player playing some Canadian music. But first, I'd like to start off with a hornpipe, and sometimes it's known as the Belfast hornpipe, and the Scots call it the sweeps hornpipe. And it's kind of beloved of concertina players because of the runs in the third part, which are actually a lot of fun to play on banjo too. So here we go. Okay, so that's the Belfast or sweeps hornpipe. And next, I'm going to play a medley of tunes. In A modal. Okay, so this is as I say, a medley of tunes. This is from Prince Edward Island, or tunes I learned there, although they have different origins. So the first tune is called The Marchioness of Tully Barton, and it's a Scottish pipe march originally. And a marchioness is the wife of the Marquis. It's an order of Scottish nobility. And then I go into a Northern Irish reel, piping tune called Dinky's Reel. And finally, a tune originating on Prince Edward Island called Little Donald in the Pigpen. And that's often we get a laugh these days about the notion of a Donald in the pig pen, but I won't say which Donald it is. I'll leave that to you. Okay, so here we go.
Nicely done, Ken, as always. It's exactly what we expect. Great stuff from you. Thank you. Our final performer of the evening first took up the banjo in 1981, and as folklore would have it, he simultaneously gave up his Les Paul after playing in garage rock bands as a teenager. He lived in Oklahoma, and he soon encountered Alan Mundy, from whom he took banjo lessons and probably learned a lot of bad jokes too. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, or Jeff. Well, anyway, later he encountered James McKinney, where he surely learned a whole lot of other secrets of the banjo, not to mention yet more bad jokes. He twice took first place in bluegrass banjo at the Walnut Valley Festival in Winfield, Kansas. He's played and recorded with a veritable who's who of bluegrass and other musicians, and most recently touring the States with Jeff Scroggins and Colorado. How about we all snap our fingers, applaud with our hands, yell with our voices, or make any other sounds that your next door neighbor may not appreciate for Mr. Jeff Scroggins.
Hey, thanks so much, Stan. Wow, it's great to be a part of the Midwest Banjo Camp, and I want to thank you and Lillian and Ken for putting all this together and having me be a part of it. It's it's really great to, even long distance, to see a lot of these folks again, and I'm happy to be here. I'm for those who don't know, I was kind of almost living in BC before all of the COVID thing started, but when it happened to actually, when I flew back from the Sewanee Banjo Camp, 2 days later, I was here visiting my fiance, and they closed the border, and I've been here ever since, and now I've filed for permanent residency, and I'm like, now I live in Canada, so hey, everybody. So as I was thinking about what I would play this evening, I was looking for out my window and just looking for inspiration earlier, and one of the things that happens in BC this time of year is about 1 million blackberries come out everywhere. It's like a weed growing on it in every space where there's just the ditches everywhere. So there's just blackberries everywhere, and it just made me keep thinking about Blackberry Blossom, which also happens to be one of my very favorite fiddle tunes. So I think I'm going to play that in honor of just the scene right outside my window. All right, thank you. Get a little situated here. All right. That was it's such a great tune. It was one of the tunes that actually drew me into learning to play fiddle tunes on the banjo. I heard that tune, and I remember trying to play it the first time and thinking that no human being alive could do that. But thanks to Alan Mundy, I soon found out that I was wrong. And been playing it ever since. Ken also mentioned that I spent like a lot of time learning from my friend James McKinney when we were both living in Texas many years ago. And I recently, I haven't gotten to see James very much, but I spent some time with him a couple of years ago when I was out touring. And then I actually got to hang out with him last year at the Sewanee Banjo Camp, and that was a lot of fun as well. And thinking about James always makes me think of the Don Reno stuff that he taught me. So I think I'm going to play a Don Reno, one of my favorite Don Reno tunes, and it's at least it was not written by Don Reno. It was written by Herb Remington, but Don Reno sort of took it and made it his own in the bluegrass banjo world, and it's a tune called Remington Ride. And here's a version of it that I'll try to use a little bit of that Don Reno stuff. All right. Yeah, all right. That's Remington Ride. And again, thanks so much to Stan, to Lillian, to Ken, to all of you for being here. And yeah, let's have another great day tomorrow. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Ted. That was great.
And thank you all campers.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. See you folks tomorrow. Remember, it's 10 o'clock Eastern time when classes start. So adjust accordingly, and probably your Hoover software will give you the right information, but just trust but verify.
Are we going to have a grand finale, folks? Did we plan a grand finale for this camp?
Shave and a haircut.
Yeah, it'll have to be a virtual grand finale. We'll have to imagine it virtually. So next year at Midwest Banjo Camp Live, wherever that may be, we will have a huge grand finale for sure.
And we hope you all join us.
Yes, we all look forward to seeing people in person and having this camp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So thank
everyone.
you so much.
Good night.
See you.